Welcome back to We Are live from Midcoast Studio. Check out midcoast.media for more information on what we do here. Joining me live in studio, the great TK Kelly. He writes for Tosh.0. He's a stand-up comedian, and he does Movie Night podcast on all things comedy. So you guys need to check that out. Give us a quick elevator pitch on Movie Night, man.
Movie Night is the most basic movie podcast you could imagine.
It's good, though. I've listened.
Listen, we love doing it. We've been doing it for like 4 years. It's me and Dwayne Perkins, who, if you guys don't know Dwayne Perkins, look him up. He's
Headlining comic.
He's been doing stand-up forever. He's amazing, one of my favorite people on the planet. And one day I was just like, hey, you like movies, right? And that was it. It was just like, we wanted to do a podcast, and interview podcasts have been perfected by people who've been at it much longer than I have. So we were like, let's do something where we bring in a comic, we talk to them for a few minutes about their career and what they're up to, but it's really just about, let's talk about a movie. We try to do mostly movies that people are familiar with and would love. We do some obscure ones. We do some huge ones. Like we recently did Avengers. It was like you have to do that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But it's great. We just kind of joke about it. We shoot the shit, and then we play some games. We come up with funny things to do, like make a drinking game out of this movie, or if this movie were to win an Oscar, what would that Oscar be? and you get comics on you. It's super fun. It's great.
In the name of TK and Movie Night, we've got a fair foul topic. And the topic is a summer blockbuster movie, but it's got to be St. Louis themed. A St. Louis themed summer blockbuster. And we want to get some good submissions in. TK, I, and Mr. Gardner will pick the best one. WAL at weareliveradio.com. $25 to Anthony knows is your prize.
And did you guys
Which is like gold here, by the way.
Do
TK.
Face Off?
We did. We did Face Off recently. One of my favorite movies ever. I don't know how it took us.
Yeah, it's a favorite on this show.
It took us like 250 episodes to get to it somehow, but that's the fun thing is we get a lot of our listeners send us suggestions, and we're like, oh yeah, how have we not done Face Off yet? I love that movie. It's ridiculous.
Who was your guest for that one?
Who was our guest for Face Off? You have to forgive me, whoever it was,
okay.
because we just stockpiled a bunch since I was leaving town. Face Off. Who did Face Off? I believe it was Nick Aragon.
Okay.
Very funny LA comic. All but happy to do that movie.
Nick Aragon.
yeah,
absolutely. Who's been some of your have you had any guests that you were giddy about coming in? Maybe, and it could just be that they match up with the movie you picked really well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's always fun. We loved having, like just recently for Avengers, we had Dan St. Germain and Mike Lawrence.
Very funny guy, yeah.
Super funny dudes. We love both of them. Honestly, right out of the gate, for episode 1, the first episode we ever did was RoboCop with Eric Griffin. And like combining those two things, I mean, Eric's amazing, hilarious, and RoboCop is a great. I still argue a great movie. I love RoboCop.
Gardner, can we get a RoboCop sign off?
What? I don't know the RoboCop sign off.
No, as in,
do you endorse RoboCop?
Yeah. I completely misunderstood.
No, good night from Robo World.
No, I like RoboCop. I don't think it's as good as Face Off.
Oh well, what is?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really fun one.
Probably Nick Cage's second best movie. No, I'll say third best movie for Face Off.
Okay, what are the top two?
Well, Leaving Las Vegas is going to be up there, number 2, and of course, actually I have to push all those down. National Treasure 1 and 2.
Okay.
Get out of here.
No mention of Raising Arizona.
National Treasure. You know how I feel about National Treasure. If I win the lottery, I'm helping finance number 3.
Have you done National Treasure on Movie Night?
We have not, but it would be a great. I mean, honestly, let's be real. Any Nick Cage movie is like right in our wheelhouse.
Right,
it's great.
That's true.
I think one of my other favorite episodes was Aisha Tyler did 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh boy.
And
that
was right when it came out, and it was huge, and it was just super fun to talk about, because if you haven't seen it, it's a real pile of dog shit.
Aisha Tyler, man, it's been fun watching her career go wild.
She's amazing. She's another person who has like how one person can have that many jobs, I'll never understand. She's just in all places at all times.
We have a listener submission for a sign off for RoboCop. I'd buy that for $1.
Yes, I mean that is the catchphrase of the entire movie.
That's from the Black Sheep. RoboCop, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, guys. Like, there's no denying that.
It's a better movie than you think. You know,
Yeah.
you look back at it and you think it's this '80s cheesy action flick, but it's great. I love it.
Well, even Face Off's in the 90s.
Yes,
according to
because
Rotten Tomatoes.
because
That's
it is like
insane.
it's a movie that understands exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They don't take themselves too seriously. It's an insanely ridiculous concept, and they're like, yeah, let's just lean into it. Let's get Nick Cage to play it off the wall, like completely full Nick Cage. It's the best.
So since we're talking about your podcast, and you don't have to drop names, you should. We've been talking about this, like Gardner, TK, and I were discussing like bad guests, like especially if they come from the entertainment world, where you're like, you're here to promote something. Can you give me something? Have you had any folks that you would like to throw under the bus that maybe we'd be surprised they weren't so good? Maybe it was a big name. I mean, I don't know. What do you got?
I mean, I'm not gonna. I won't give you names.
You won't name
I
names.
won't
Okay.
be. I won't do anyone that dirty. But there
Right.
is this. Let me just say, if you've come on my podcast, and when I start the podcast with the question, so like, how are you? What's been going on in your life? And your answer is, I don't know. Then I'm talking about you.
Right.
Like, just say something. Promote some shows
Yeah.
coming up. And I get it. As a comic, sometimes things are up and down, you know. But
Yeah.
like, pretend things are going well. It'll be better.
Tell me about your
It'll
Twitter
be better
account.
for
I
your
don't
career
care.
if you act like it's going well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's so true. Gardner, what's the word? Can you think? Gardner's been a part of 740 big time radio stations.
Man.
Can you think of like problematic guests that you've had? I do remember a couple sports writers hanging up on people you worked with or anything like that. I'm trying to think of somebody you've dealt with that sticks out. For the most part, 99% of guests are doing as good or better than you ever would have thought
I
they
think
would do.
part of
You
the-
know,
Yeah.
people come to
Part of
come
the
to-
difficulty is like when you get some like tours type, like radio tours.
And they treat you like a
because-
cattle call, and you don't like being treated
Because
like a cattle call.
normally you're going to find a guest that you're comfortable talking with, and because no matter if that's a big name or not, it's going to create content that you guys are comfortable with. You know, the conversational flow and all that kind of stuff. When it's maybe someone you don't know or it's something weird, it can get just awkward. You try. What ends up happening is you talk through it.
Yes.
You
Well, yeah,
try.
you have to.
Your mind is just going, okay. It's not even staying in the conversation. Your mind as a host starts going to, okay, what time is it? Okay, how do I get? I gotta hit a few
Watching
more
the clock.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
What can I say that can keep this at least just going?
Yeah,
and not
I-
stop.
that's one of the biggest things for me about having Dwayne as a co-host is he's great, and him and I have a solid dynamic. So when we're both, you feel it when it's happening, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, this person's maybe not going to give us quite as much as we want. You pick up the slack.
Travis will throw me under the bus and just start looking at me.
Yeah.
Travis will start asking two nervous questions, and then he'll say, "Well, we don't want to keep you long." I'm like, "Keep you long? We're 4 minutes in.
Well,
We're
that's
4 minutes in."
It's not a bad move at that point, though, necessarily. I mean, it's like,
Right.
all right, we might have to call an audible here. But
Yeah.
I can think of, because I've heard this guy do it a number of times, so I feel I could mention it. Ronnie Lott would come on,
Hall of Famer.
Yes.
around
Great safety, bad guest.
Yeah, around Super Bowl time, and but it would be like he had like a paid sponsorship just with avocados.
Yes,
It was avocados.
of all things.
Because you're doing like guacamole dips and stuff for your Super Bowl. And so you'd ask him a question, like, oh, what was this moment like in your career? He's like, well, it's a lot like when you take an avocado and he answered all these questions with avocado, and you're like,
Just keeps coming
What
back
about-
to good fats. It's like, Ronnie,
yeah,
we get it.
what are we supposed to do here? And I've heard him do that on more than one
That's
occasion.
hilarious.
And I'm like, what are we doing?
In the history of radio, anything else, the greatest thing I've ever heard or seen, Dan Patrick, Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey
was like
comes
that,
on.
yeah.
It was the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Do you remember this?
I don't.
He comes on and he had some form of a sponsored thing, and he was not coached properly on how to do this. He straight up, and it was whenever he got hurt, or it was the nightclub thing,
Yeah,
or something.
he was already in a salty
Not in
mood.
a great place.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was one of those things. But he goes on Dan Patrick, and they're like, he does his plug, and then Dan's like, okay, so let's get to this, and he was like, I'm here to talk about men's Under Armour spray or whatever the hell it was, and Dan Patrick's like, that's not how this This isn't. We didn't have you on for this. That's not how this works."
Yeah.
And then he was like, he gave pushback, and Dan goes, "You know what? Do your plug. Do your plug. Go ahead." Does his plug. He's like, "Thanks." It ends the call. I think they made amends, but
I think Harvey called back the next day.
the
or
next
something
day
like that.
and did that. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. To see
That's
someone
great.
at the pinnacle of their profession still dealing with a kind of a blockheaded athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's like for us, we have 90% comics on, so
Right.
it's mostly fine.
Heavy lifting is
the
not.
fun thing that happens sometimes, and I will call out this guest because he was a great guest, but when we really disagree on a movie. That's always interesting.
Does it get
because,
serious?
No, but like it starts. So we had Big Jay Hollingsworth. I don't know if you know him. Super funny comic out of Boston. He's out in L.A. now. We had him on
There's
recently.
more than one Big J.
Yeah, lots of Big J's.
Okay.
Of the Big J's, he
Okay,
is,
yeah.
is
He's not-
arguably the biggest.
Yeah?
He's a very big J.
He's not Okerson?
No.
Okerson, not that big.
No, not that big.
Yeah, just a
Big,
husky
Big J
guy.
Hollingsworth, he's a
big
large
dude,
man.
yeah.
But great guy, super funny. And we did the movie Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I've never seen that.
I hate it. Maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But Jay just saw it very differently than me and Dwayne. And the whole time he was like, I kind of feel like I'm dumb now because I really like this movie. And I was like, listen, I'm not going to say you are. Maybe I'm dumb. One of us is dumb, though. So
Right.
someone here doesn't get it.
That's where, like, that's kind of where I stand with like Wedding Singer, where it's like I'm so cautious to admit that it's probably like that's a really good movie, but then I also don't want to say that I really enjoyed The Wedding Singer,
Yeah.
and I don't care if it's on TBS every Saturday. It's a nice little film, and it's arguably
That's
in
your
his
guilt-
top 3.
That's
Yeah.
your guilty pleasure.
Oh yeah, and it's solid. It is what it is. It's When Harry Met Sally, Sandler
Yeah.
style,
Yeah.
right?
And,
And,
and I'll find a note saying, hey, you know what? Sweet Home Alabama's on.
All
I
right.
might watch it.
Okay, cut it. I don't think TK has the power, but cut his mic.
I feel like, but that's what happens, though. You get those differences of opinion. I mean, we also, in the last 2 months or so, we watched a lot of the Oscar movies for this year because it was Oscar season.
Yeah.
And we kind of really, I wasn't a huge fan of The Favorite, which a lot of people loved. I loved that director's other movies more. And then we kind of crapped on that. We kind of crapped on Green Book. And then maybe 2 weeks ago, we were like talking about how criminally underrated Weekend at Bernie's was. So I was like, if you want to get an idea of where we're at,
Right,
like
right.
we're the Everyman's Movie podcast, right? We're like, listen, this is brilliant. I don't know what to tell you. Green Book, Best Picture winner, garbage.
I definitely, Travis would be our co-host would be very
yeah.
happy with your assessment of that. He was not having that whatsoever. I'm trying to think. I always qualify that anytime like I have a problem with people playing Magic the Gathering or spending too much of their time on Marvel things, which I do. I like the Marvel movies, but getting too hyped up about it, I go. My disclaimer is always, I do watch a show about the dead coming to life and people's struggles over 10 years. So
Yeah.
please just pump the brakes when
And
you
I
get
am-
mad at what I say because I'm speaking from a point of view. That
I
doesn't
will
need to be
watch
respected.
Ancient Aliens or Ghost Adventures
Correct.
as well.
Yeah.
Like, I will watch those shows.
Yeah. Oh my god.
10 years. Congratulations, Ancient Aliens.
Are they to blame for all these recent UFO sighting
No,
stories?
no.
Okay. No, we're just seeing more of them.
Yeah, I
Are
don't.
the Anunnaki making their final push?
Right in front of us.
When
I
haven't
was
they
hoping
been?
we'd get to this.
Yeah, yeah. TK is like, let's talk about the
Right in
aliens
front of
stuff.
us, and no one is blinking an eye.
No.
Oh, New York Times. There's another story on UFOs. Navy fighter pilots doing it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we got.
It is really
We got to
weird.
worry about other stuff.
If these are legit like stories, because I don't even stop. I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to see who Trump pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
that's how it happens. They've
We're
got us on 5G
we're
now.
distracted.
Uh-huh. Lizard people,
Oh,
they're
let's
coming
see it.
through the floors, and it's time.
They're starting to show up. They
Yeah.
see our demise happening, and they're
Yeah.
like, well, let's see what we can mine this planet for before it's all gone.
They're
Wanna
gonna be
destroy it
they're gonna
all.
be shocked when they show up and just go, "We're here," and we're like, "Yeah, hold on, we got to deal with some other shit first."
My Twitter's frozen. Give me a second.
This was not supposed to be. This is not how I anticipated our entrance coming.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's definitely what's happening. Okay, so again, check out Movie Night Podcast. You can download it anywhere you get your podcasts. Check it out on All Things Comedy's website as well. That's how I met TK originally at the All Things Comedy Festival in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm going to tell people about Gateway Powder Coating, and then we're going to jump into more his TK's story, what took him from New York in the finance industry to Comedy Central. Gateway Powder Coating sponsors our show. If you guys have grills, wheels, anything that needs powder coated, if you can paint it, you can powder coat it. It lasts longer, it looks great. If you're going to have a barbecue, TK, I know you can't afford a backyard in Los Angeles.
I have a small patio.
Okay,
thank you.
If you have a smoker out there, you could have schlepped that to the Midwest, dropped it off to Gateway Powder Coating because you want it to look nice. You're going to have people over. You have a kid on the way. When your in-laws come by and you're smoking the meats with your father-in-law, you don't want to look like a chump, right?
Last thing I want to do is look like a chump while smoking meats.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Gateway Powder Coat can help you guys with that. Fast, durable, affordable. Check out gatewaypowdercoat.com for more information. So we got to the part where you were an intern at Comedy Central, at Conan, and then you worked your way through that successfully, I'm guessing.
I mean, I got through it. Yeah. No,
Failed.
I did. I
You
felt
failed
like
up.
I felt like I both went well enough. I got
Right.
some good relationships out of that, and because of the Comedy Central one in particular, someone there who knew me gave me a heads up when Tosh was looking, and thought I might be a good fit, and I submitted a packet, and that's kind of how I got my foot in that door.
So it's almost like they showed you the path. You still had to walk the path, though.
Yeah,
Like,
for
there's
sure.
There's
I
no
mean,
favoritism. It's like you still have to go and say, I can do this, and here's how.
I mean, Tosh didn't know me at all.
Right.
It was really just someone involved with the show said, this guy might be a good fit for you guys. You should check him out. I had to submit a writing packet. They still had to like it. So it was
Right.
it definitely helped. Somebody let me know about that job that I otherwise probably wouldn't have known about before it was already filled.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you still got to get in there and kick ass. with
Yeah,
what they're- what's
I always have a
asking.
hard time taking credit for anything. So I like to tell that guy, Gary, man, if you're listening,
He's a streamer. He's watching live.
He always gives me shit because I'm like, you're the reason I got it. He's like, I didn't do anything. I just told you about the job.
Man, even just that, though, that means so much to people. So when you get hired at Tosh, what does that mean? What is that? Are you low level, working your way up?
When I
Is
got
it-
hired, I was a blogger. So that's how long I've been working there, guys. Blogs were still a thing. I think it was halfway through season 5 I got the job there, and they still had a standalone blog where they were putting a lot of videos and maybe funny like still pictures, so stuff that wasn't quite right for the show, but was still kind of in our wheelhouse. So we would post all that stuff and put jokes up, and had a great following, and honestly, it was great practice. It was just straight joke writing, and then I quickly started to contribute jokes to the show, and after a few years there, got bumped up to staff writer.
That's fantastic. Like it's such a grind too to work through that. I assume because I mean,
Yeah.
blogger for Comedy Central, while as glorious as it sounds,
Oh,
probably
you guys!
not paying the
oh,
bills.
it's just fighting the ladies off with a stick. Yeah,
just
no,
like
I mean,
Gardner
it was,
does when he's on his scooter on the way here.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. I mean, it's low level in entertainment. Before you get to that like first real writing job, if that's the path you're on, you're not getting paid a bunch.
Yeah.
You start out. I mean, I was a PA, a production assistant on several different shows. When I was just looking for work, I would do it here and there. I was a PA on Workaholics. It's low level stuff. You're not getting paid much. You're working the hardest out of everybody. Shout out to anyone who has ever PA'd. Our PAs on Tosh are amazing. They put in the most hours of anyone there, and they do all the worst jobs, and they get paid the least. It's a terrible system.
Is there a clear path that if you're a PA that you're going to advance?
Yes. I mean, well, the thing is, if you, it's kind of a crapshoot because you never know what show you get involved with and how long it's going to last. That's
point.
a huge part of
Yeah.
it. But the biggest thing in entertainment, I will say, is show up and work your ass off. Be eager, regardless of what the job is. Show them you can be counted on to do whatever needs to be done. Within reason. Don't let anybody Harvey Weinstein you or anything.
Right.
But like, if you show an eagerness and an aptitude, you'll move up for sure.
What about moving to New York, getting a disgusting attitude, and meeting with Sesame Street writers once a week?
This feels
that a-
like you're taking a personal shot at someone who's not here right now.
Oh,
and
Travis
I won't
Terrell
be a party
has-
to it.
Travis Terrell has joined in the comments, and he must be in between flights. he says fart noise.
Nice.
in the
Nice.
show. So, welcome to the show.
I like him already.
Glad to have you on. Travis, I'd be nice because there's a way more talented white guy to your black dude. Maybe Travis would want to interview you to take over my spot.
Yeah.
So he needs to play nice with you. That's really interesting, the PA part of things, and it's just like anything. If you're going to be there and you want to advance, like, impress people.
Yeah,
Right?
and because entertainment is like this, a lot of people want to be involved, and the jobs are very hard to come by. So if you can come by even the lowest level job, don't phone it in, because then you won't get the next job.
Right.
You just gotta work.
People are taking note. So you've been a staff writer for how long now?
3 seasons now.
3 seasons.
Yeah.
What does a staff writer for Tosh? Which, by the way, a friend of mine very callously laughed and said, "Isn't being a writer for Tosh.0 just YouTube commenting?"
And then I slapped him in the face. But yes.
There's a lot of work that goes into that.
Here's the thing. It's a ton of joke writing.
Yeah.
It's just, if you've watched the show, the first act is all just rapid fire videos with nonstop jokes. So it's a lot of joke writing. And then we write our little short sketch pieces. And then we also do our bigger act 2 and 3 pieces are like, our web redemptions when we bring somebody in and interview them, and those are the bigger writing pieces. But mostly it's joke writing. It's just straight up like pump out as much as you can.
It is in regards to jobs after. How long does Tosh.0 stay on the air? Like, I truly don't know. Is this something that just goes for forever?
I truly don't know. I tell you, I wish I knew, because I don't. When I got the job halfway through season 5, it had been a big hit for a while already. So for me, it was like, okay, season 5 is like, that's a good run, especially Comedy Central clip show. Like, they don't tend to last that.
They'll cancel a show that has good numbers and stuff because they ain't feeling it.
Exactly. So and with TV, you just don't ever really know what goes into the decision making. So to me, I thought it would be a good job for a year or two, and hopefully would get me something else after that. It's gone forever, and I totally get why. It's this refillable, fun, Comedy Central can just put it on 8 episodes in a row in the middle of the day. And it's an easy watch. It's not something you have to commit a bunch of your attention to.
Right.
It's and the world never stops giving us idiots. It's it's just an endless stream
of awesomeness.
Yes. Don't get me wrong, some of the guests we've had are amazing and super funny, and then we had one guy that got kicked in the balls a bunch, and that was his jam. He just went on YouTube. I think he calls himself Nutshot Zach.
No.
And just for years, and God bless him, he had been posting these videos and clearly trying to get on our show.
Yeah.
For years, committed to it. We saw his weight fluctuate greatly during this time, and we were finally man, this guy's taken so many nut shots. It is a travesty to not have him on. And we had him on, and he was great. He was super fun.
Has there been anybody that you guys have brought in that basically scared people, where you're just like,
oh yes,
maybe we've taken this a little too far?
I would say 3 out of 5 people. Look, we have some characters on. We have had some people who are perfectly lovely and super funny, and then we have some people where we're like, oh, you are out there.
This is a thing.
But it's fun to give everyone a platform to kind of. Some people show in their time on our show that there's kind of more to them than you would think.
Right.
And then some people are like, oh no, I get it. He gets kicked in the balls.
This is a thing that we.
But yeah, we've had some very, very oddballs. We had one of my first big Act 2 pieces was this guy who calls himself the Breatharian, and he claims he only eats air. He survives on air.
Sir, you're
alone.
a liar.
And we think it's this ridiculous, goofy thing. We're shooting this super dumb piece where him and Tosh are eating at an air-only restaurant. And halfway through the interview, he casually drops that he doesn't think the Holocaust happened. And we're like, oh my God.
No.
And of course, we put it in. We're like, oh yeah, we're keeping that. We're putting that on. We got to show the world this man is insane.
So Wow. So in a sense, that improved the sketch.
It did.
Yeah.
It definitely added another layer, but you just never you don't know because
Horrific
you know we're
layer.
basing who we're bringing in on these mostly short internet videos, and we have a variety of reasons we get interested in people. But
Yeah.
sometimes they'll come out of left field with a like, Hitler wasn't that bad of a guy. I think he said that, and I'm like, oh my.
How is it? So you get a guest, right? So how does this work? So say Steve in Virginia has just gotten kicked in the head by a mule.
Mm-hmm.
He survived, and the video goes viral, and he has been picked by you all. So where does the process start from him uploading his video to you guys reaching out and then him ending up in a room with the star of the show, Tosh, and doing whatever he does? What's that process?
I mean, honestly, it comes together pretty quickly because people are eager to. I mean, most of the people, especially at this point, because the show's been on, we're in season 11, so there are much fewer of like the old web redemption that we used to do, where someone would have something bad happen to them, and we'd bring them on, and like the girl who got, I don't remember if you remember the girl from Auburn who tried to catch a wayward kick on the sideline and took it right in the face.
Oh,
And it was like that's the traditional internet fail, and we'll bring you on and redeem you. But now it's mostly we bring on what we call celebrities, where they're like they do something, they have a shtick, and we bring them on for that reason. So they're seeking attention for sure.
Right.
Our producers have to call them. That might be the best like fly on the wall thing at our show, is to watch the producers have to call sometimes what are legitimately crazy people and talk to them and like kind of
Just start with a DM. Hey, we might be interested.
it depends. It honestly depends on what they think of that person. It's like sometimes people can be a little cagey, and also honestly, some people aren't super eager to be made fun of. But we're not viciously taking these people down. We're mostly we're trying to bring them on the show and make a good piece out of it and have fun. So it's mostly pretty easy to convince them. We have some people that sometimes we think they're not going to be interested in all, and immediately they're like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do that.
Have you ran into it, and just locally, friend of the show and very, very funny improviser and stand-up comic, Libby Higgins, has this video where she appears to be a white trash woman with a mullet outside of a McDonald's, saying that she just throat punched a bitch for the McRib she didn't receive.
Yes.
But if you made that phone call, you would go like, "Oh, you're talented. Like you're a normal person." Does that happen where you kind of get? I wouldn't even call it okey doked. Yeah, but
I mean, we're usually pretty good at sniffing it out. It's when a video seems too perfect, it almost always is. Like, oh, this is an act.
Yeah,
but
great act.
But depending on the person, sometimes we'll have them on as their character.
Yeah.
This was before my time on the show, but one of the early redemptions that was super popular was Froggy Fresh. He was this rapper that was just insanely bad. Yeah. And it was character. But it was, he was committed in a way that you might not have known it.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
But we haven't been fooled, really. As far as I know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Nutshot Zach was wearing a cup the whole time. I don't know. I don't think he was. I like to think it was pure.
And then I'm assuming you guys just cover flights for people and like get them out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fly them out. We give them a nice little paycheck. They get to stay in the Culver City DoubleTree for one night.
They get a paycheck though?
Yeah, sure.
That's cool.
I mean, look, they're appearing on television. You got to pay them.
That's awesome.
Do you have a favorite web redemption that you guys have done in your time there?
In my time there, I would probably say, that's really hard. We've done so many. I've honestly forgotten more of them than anything. But like recently, we did this guy Ricky Berwick. He's an internet personality. He has this disease called Marfan syndrome, and it's physically a huge impairment. And he just does not give a fuck. Like he does his thing. He does this little wacky internet show, and we made kind of a Pee-wee's Playhouse take and gave him his own fake show for Tosh to be on. And it was so fun, and he was so enjoyable.
That's awesome.
And so crazy, and like exactly what we wanted him to be. Like he was great. It was a lot of fun. He was so thrilled to be there. It was really cool.
That has to feel really good whenever you do that, where it's like, again, too, like that's why whenever people don't really look at the inside of things. Like you would think like, oh, they're going to have this guy on and roast him, this make fun of thing, and then it turns out to be this inspirational kind of moment.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that actually,
exciting.
that brings to mind another one we did recently with these two people from, they're actually local to us. They're in like North Hollywood. They call themselves the Gay Latina Deaf Drag Queens. I don't remember which order that goes in. But for short, they call themselves Deafies in Drag. And they came on and we did like a silly Telemundo type show, but it was all silent. The entire thing was silent with subtitles, sign language, and it was super silly, super over the top. But it was definitely the kind of thing where you're like, if you think you know what Tosh.0 is, you wouldn't think we'd do something like that. People, they judge it on the surface, fairly so sometimes.
Yeah.
But there is more to it, and it was a great segment. It was helmed by one of our really funny writer, Samantha Jarvis. She's not on the show anymore, but it was her last big piece before she left, and it was great. It was
that's
so great.
Cool. I love that, and that's the stuff you get to hear. Again, follow TK on Instagram, Twitter at TK Kelly Comedy, I believe.
Yes.
For most things.
Yeah.
You can do that, and then again, check out the podcast Movie Night. That's a lot of fun to listen to on all things comedy. More about you, sir. Stand-up comedy. You've got a little time off. We put together some dates for you to do that. In regards to writing stand-up in the next few years, let's say Tosh hangs it up. He's going to do theaters
Let's
from
not
now
say
on.
that.
Let's say, okay, 5 more. Do you want it to go on forever?
I don't know. I mean, look, it's a great
Let's
job.
say in this
It's a great
scenario,
job. Yes.
Everybody sees it coming. He's like, I got 3 more seasons in me. TK, I'm going to give you a bonus for staying on for you like this one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not
last
going to
3
happen,
years.
but okay.
What, are you pushing super hard to be TK Kelly, touring stand-up comic all the time, or do you have to go with this bread and butter and say TK Kelly needs to get on one of these Marvel movies,
Yeah.
or a regular comedic sitcom? Like, what do you want to do?
Writing is definitely where my focus has been for the most part, and because I've been on Tosh for so long, it's definitely kept me away a little bit from getting out on the road and doing stand-up, which I've been doing more recently in like the last 2 years or so. I mean, honestly, in a perfect world, I want to always do both.
Yeah.
I love both so much. I would love to, in the long term, I want to, like I think any writer in Hollywood, you want to create your own show. And
Show or movie preferable?
I love TV because it gives you the opportunity to have some variety.
Yeah.
I mean, features would be amazing. I'm not going to sit here and act like, listen, I don't want to do movies, guy. Like, that's amazing.
I'm a TV man.
But I've just always been such a big fan of, especially animated TV, that like that's just kind of where my heart is, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I would love to just always be doing both. To parlay one into the other, they feed each other. I love stand-up. It's so much fun. It's such a joy, even when it's not the best. It's the best. You know what I mean? It's like still, I'm doing stand-up comedy. If I would have told my teenage self that I would be complaining after any stand-up show,
you wouldn't be
he
allowed.
would be like, dude, shut up.
That's
You're
enough.
doing stand-up. Like,
You could be
it's great.
recruiting finance professionals right now.
Exactly. I mean, I just couldn't see myself doing anything else. So it's my favorite thing in the world. So yeah, hopefully continue to do both. I don't know if I'd ever want to be like touring stand-up comic who's out on the road all the time. At
the sacrifice of a writing job.
But the thing is also, if it's cyclical. If Tosh ends and my next job isn't right there, then you put more weight in stand-up, and then you kind of just go back and forth. Hopefully,
you've got a kid on the way. Is your new hour you put together just going to be all dad jokes?
Oh my God, I've been waiting. Just been chomping at the bit to be a dad comic. I've had the body for years. I was so many comics were like, you don't already have a kid? And I'm like, I know, right? Yeah, I got that attitude. I got that feel. I've got a dad aura.
Where you're like, just dangerous enough, but like, oh, hey, we don't want to take any risks here.
I was already talking about like a lot in my act about eventually having kids. So now it's just like, hey, let's do this. Let's have a kid. I need the material.
perfect.
Why'd you become a dad? For the material.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
I'm
have
sure
to.
I'll love her, but you know.
Yeah, we'll see. Just don't, it's a little early. Guys, we've got Fair or Foul. Your topic today, we've got a great prize, so let's get some good submissions. A St. Louis themed summer blockbuster movie. All you got to do is write a sentence, a paragraph, make us laugh, and we'll award the winner. WAL at weareliveradio.com is where you email that. Gardner, we haven't. I've been having such a fun time talking to TK.
Yeah, it's been great.
I agree. I'm very good at this.
It's been fine, guys. I'm not the best.
We've missed some headlines. Let's hit some current events. There was a lot of Bear stuff happening this weekend.
Yeah, and everyone knows how I feel about
Cubs and Bruins.
Yeah, Cubs.
He's got
and Bruins.
ursophobia.
Both of them.
Mr. Kelly.
I mean, everyone should, on some level, be afraid of bears.
should.
I
They
agree.
They can do some damage.
yeah.
Like it's even classified
Build a
as,
Bear headquarters is here though, so it's
Yeah.
taken the scare level down.
You know,
quite
being
a bit.
afraid of bears is classified as a phobia in some ways, but really it's a defense mechanism because they are apex predators.
It's just logical, really.
Yeah, like you should be afraid of them.
Makes a lot of sense.
You shouldn't be, oh, look, a bear. Oh, yeah, that's what you do at the zoo when there's glass between you. Take the glass away and have the same reaction, and let's see what happens.
As it eats your guts out first and then saves you for 2 days.
Buries
as
ya.
they do.
Drags
Goes-
you into a tree and just leaves you there.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I'll get
be
back to that.
Oh, okay.
I gotta go
Yeah.
see. There's something happening
Yeah.
down by the
Try
river.
that, kids.
Uh-huh.
Keep telling your kids that, parents.
Yeah.
But Bruins in town, Cubs in town. I was a little on edge. And then a story comes out, and I don't even know how this story should relate. But the SEC, Southeastern Conference, has decided apparently to relax their ban on alcoholic beverages at sporting events.
That's what the SEC needs.
Right.
More alcohol.
Yes. So this
As
is-
if we weren't doing a good enough job of sneaking booze into
Yes.
Mizzou games.
If there's
Oh.
one conference that doesn't need it,
Yeah.
it's the
See,
SEC.
Especially with this abortion ban. Like, you understand what these kids are going to do? Oh, man.
So it's they're relaxing that a bit, it seems. As you said, that's probably going to
Let
Go.
the kids drink.
go well. But we're going to have people back in my day, we snuck it in our belt buckle. That's what I would do.
Sure.
That's what I would do.
Well, you're a pro.
So Channel 2 here in town, the 2 Fox, had a graphic about this story. You know, is Mizzou going to be having alcohol sales? However, could soon buy a bear at a Mizzou game.
Excuse me?
A little misspelling
What's
there.
going on?
So during Ursapalooza this weekend with the
Oh,
Bruins
no.
and Cubs in town,
Oh, no.
a little mishap with the graphic over at the 2 Fox. I don't know if this was done on purpose. If someone's
think it was a
trolling
direct
me.
assault at you.
Is this Charlie Marlowe playing with
Charlie
the
Marlowe,
graphics again?
friend of the show, famous for calling Kevin Dimoff of the Los Angeles Rams a professional liar on a chyron. That was really good. He edited it in as he was talking, and he got in a little trouble for that. But it was
Yeah,
very
I
funny.
imagine you would.
It was very funny. Wow. Well, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, not appreciated.
Maybe it's not a typo. Maybe they're
Yeah.
just opening up concessions. They're like, we're going to sell beers, we're going to sell bears.
Martin, Charlie, over at the 2 Fox. I'm watching you. guys. I know how you function. I believe this was done purposefully.
Well, I'm sorry, buddy. There was another highlight I wanted to get to. Boxing, one of the biggest fights of all time would have been Deontay Wilder, American heavyweight, against British heavyweight Anthony Joshua. Both built like Greek gods. Amazing to watch. Just the apex. Speaking of apex, I mean, it was going to be undefeated versus undefeated. Could have been the biggest boxing match of all time, revenue-wise. Everybody could have lined their pockets till the end of time. And one Andy Ruiz steps in against Anthony Joshua, and I don't know if we have any pictures. That is Anthony Joshua being crushed by a man who took down some snacks beforehand.
He did not work that hard
He
leading
took
up to
the
the fight.
on 4 weeks' notice.
Why not? He's
Yeah.
like, whatever, I'm big. I'll
Right.
be all right.
I'm going to get in there.
Whatever.
I'm going to knock it. Becomes the first ever heavyweight champion of Mexican descent. And if you go back at his Instagram, he is a wild dude. He was not in 2 ways. There's 2 ways to look at this. Oh, this guy's not ready. He's got no media training. His Instagram's full of really weird stuff. And you're like, he's not ready for this. On the other hand, it's 2019. I'm ready for somebody like this to have a spotlight on
Yeah.
him. This guy, Andy
pure.
Ruiz, knocks out Anthony Joshua. Huge upset. But he's very skilled as a boxer. But but I want to blame it on something else.
I want to get to that.
Okay,
but
please.
I want to.
Yes.
I want to get this in before we get to that because what you're getting to is an important point.
It certainly is.
What's the weird stuff on his Instagram? If you don't
Oh,
mind
there's a
asking?
photo of him like 4 years ago, and it's just him, his big goofy ass in a mirror taking a selfie, and it goes, "Me acting stupid after just taking a huge shit." And I'm like, "Oh, is this what we're
okay.
doing?"
Yes.
Okay.
I saw that at the post-fight press or news conference. He showed up wearing a Knicks jersey,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and so
Much
he was.
love. I
yeah.
like him.
Right?
I like him.
He's there and he's ready. No, and he just looks so happy. And it's not only is it a giant upset that also had grave consequences for Deontay Wilder's pocketbook and everyone else. You just have this thing where it's like, it's so much better that it was him and not some quiet, humble, also in shape guy. Ruiz, I hope he's the biggest star in the world. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And two, Mexican boxing fans are so passionate, and if they're going to get behind him and make him the next big star, I'm all for it. It's fun. And more upsets, the better, because boxing's still crooked as ever. So, whatever.
And you know what? That fight will still happen eventually.
It
They'll
will.
still both make
There will be a
tons
Pacquiao,
of money off of
Mayweather.
it.
We'll all pay
Yes.
for it. And
it will
we'll
all
be,
pretend we're not disappointed that it wasn't what we wanted it to be, but it'll still happen.
You are damn right. I mean,
It always does.
God, that's how it works. But so Anthony Joshua, again, the savior of everything. He's just one of the greatest boxers of all time. He's got the look. He's this cool model-esque dude. But he
even got a model
couldn't-
name.
yeah,
Anthony
right?
Joshua.
Anthony Joshua. That's right. He couldn't avoid one thing though, and it made me like, what are you thinking, man? Like, there's this dude who held up an Irish flag behind Conor McGregor right before he got tapped in the biggest fight of his life. What, Gardner? Do we have photo evidence of what really caused the loss? Drizzy.
Drake.
Drake, you've done it again. You son of a bitch. About to break the curse.
It's remarkable.
This is from Anthony Joshua posing with Drake in a photo. I don't know if Drake's in his chair from Degrassi, but he's sitting down. This is 1,000,000% why that happened. Do you like that?
Yes.
Okay,
Love
gotcha. This is 1,000,000% why the upset happened. He said he was breaking the curse. This curse is undefeated. It's bad news, man.
I love how real it is.
It's
It makes
so
me
real.
so
and
happy.
let this be a lesson.
I want a 30
As a
for
real
30.
Yankees fan, do you hate jump on Yankees fans?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Okay,
of
good.
course.
Yeah. Let this be a lesson to front runners and jumping on late to things. Drake does this with every freaking thing possible. Next thing he's going to tell us that Stairway to Heaven is his favorite song of all time. He's always a front runner, man.
Drake is it's remarkable how many of these things he's involved in. And now it's gotten very funny that he's kind of embracing it. Like he was wearing the 76ers shorts during that series.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this is 100% working. I don't understand it. I like to think it's like something it's in the ether. It's just real now.
It certainly is.
Drake
Gardner?
is just a permanent curse to
I want a
everything.
doc on it. I want a documentary. I want
Yeah.
a 30
Yes,
for
eventually,
30.
exactly. Like he's the Billy Goat for the Cubs. He's Babe Ruth for the Red Sox. What a weak modern version of a curse, but it's Drake. That's
So when do we draw the line? Whenever he comes out in support of the Simpsons baseball episode, like, you get back, you son of a bitch!
Like if I'm any team right now, all right, no, you get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
Beat it, man. Yeah, this is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
I wonder if it could work opposite. Like,
Like if I see him show up at a Kansas basketball game, I'm asking security to eject him.
yeah, immediately. But could we find a way to make it opposite? Like, if he did show up to a Mizzou football game, would they go for a national title win since they've never done that? Like, is there a way to
No.
reverse it?
No.
We can't use his powers.
No,
for
nice
good.
try though.
you have
Okay.
to sacrifice Drake at midfield.
Yeah.
Oh no.
There's only one way to end the curse.
Oh gosh. Well, I won't participate in that. You want to do some fair or foul, sir?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We asked you about a St. Louis blockbuster movie. Travis isn't in, so I'll let TK say it in a deep, excited voice. Can you say, "Let's get ready for some fair or foul"?
Let's get ready for some fair or foul.
That was great. That was perfect. Hit it, Gardner.
This defining moment. Change has come to America.
People often ask me,
They don't.
what's fair or foul? Is it a segment? Is it a movement? Is it hope? I can't say for certain. Time will be a true test of its power. But I
Every day.
can say, fair or foul is now and forever for the people. Gather around the radio with your loved ones and hold on to your butts. It's now time for fair
We give it back to you, the people.
or foul.
Dramatic entry. What do you think about guys that voice their own segment voiceovers?
I respect it. That was
Yeah,
commitment.
it
That
was.
was it's very very well done.
Wow. Maybe TK and Travis will have a buddy call.
Oh, yeah, I'm just
comedy
trying
down the
to
road.
weasel into your
Yeah.
spot here.
I should mention
that's fair.
this.
Maybe you'll be a staff writer on Sesame Street.
You made me think about voiceover stuff. I did watch over the weekend. I guess they finally put it out. NBC did. Bill Hader meeting Keith Morrison.
Oh,
And we know Bill Hader does the great Keith Morrison impersonation, the Dateline reporter. Those two meeting, fantastic. And then also they do a little promo at the end of the video, and Hader just loses it laughing as
Oh,
they're
that's so good.
they're both going back and
Yeah.
forth there for a moment. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
Hater's the best.
Do you fancy yourself on the segments that you've made where you do your Keith Morrison in tribute of? Do you fancy that you would do that in front of him?
No, maybe I would, Chris. Maybe I would.
The question after the ... is whenever he, when he brings it back to you.
Mhm.
That's my favorite part. I'm like, thank you for coming back and asking
When-
me if you would really enjoy it.
Yeah. And just the fact that he's involved with the story here locally, that's going to be in the news here again in the next couple of months, that Dateline has been covering for a number of years.
Can you give TK a two-sentence overview?
Lady probably has killed a number of people, tried to frame them,
Pam Hupp.
and then actually successfully framed someone at one point. He went to prison for a couple years, got out.
How have I not heard about this?
And they haven't. But
Oh,
they've
it's
done
it's
3
wild.
Dateline episodes on it. I think they've only
Suburban St. Louis. Like,
Yeah.
she's in her 60s. Like,
It was living in O'Fallon with
And
the
this
last
is not
one.
a Netflix documentary already.
Not
I feel like
yet.
Netflix is really pushing the murder on.
Well, they're
that.
probably.
I know you wanted to work
waiting,
with Travis. Maybe this is something we tackle together.
This is
do
probably.
it.
They're probably waiting for the conclusion because it was supposed to start going to trial here this month, but there's
It's
been a
so
delay,
messed up. Yeah.
and I don't know. That was going to be my summer.
Yeah.
I was going to be like, hey, I'm leaving early, guys. I'm going out to St. Charles County. We'll go watch this Pam Hupp stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that was going to be my summer, and it's gone now. And I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do now?
Insane. Guys, we asked you about a St. Louis-themed summer blockbuster. We got a few submissions we're going to go through real quick here. Winner gets $25 to Antonino's Taverna. Try the toasted wraps there. They're fantastic. Here we go. Fair. I love the idea of taking something from St. Louis and bringing it to Hollywood. Or just the Los Angeles area, actually. That's from Ran Ronke. Weird. Sounds awfully close to Stan Kroenke of the Los Angeles Rams. Fair.
Who was that one?
Oh, sorry. That was Ran Ronke.
Oh, Ran Ronke. That's right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Ran Ronke.
That's right.
Discreet.
Quite.
I like it.
Fair. Speed 3. Loop Trolley.
Ha!
That's a neighborhood, and they decided to build an old school trolley, and it took 3 years longer than it was supposed to, and it runs into cars still.
Nice.
That's how we're operating here. We're gonna have this cool vintage thing, and everybody's gonna love it. And everybody's, wow, this is millions. What are you doing?
Now is the time to build trolleys for sure. If ever there were a time.
Would you,
Wow.
call yourself,
2019
would you
is-
call yourself a trolley man?
Oh, I mean, who isn't?
Right,
You know?
trolley all the way.
Hey, we got the loop trolley. Meanwhile, they're trying to do hyperloops from Kansas City
Yeah,
to St.
yeah.
Louis. And I'm like, guys, yeah,
We have an
Elon Musk is a little ahead of us here.
we have an entire
But
giant
this one has
body
a bell.
of It does.
Well, obviously it does.
And
if
a
it
jolly
doesn't, get outta here.
engineer.
Oh my God, we went to film a bit on there, and they were like, no cameras. I was like, what? We just want to interview you. They're like, no, this is serious business. They got real,
We
mom.
can't have this debacle documented.
Like, I don't know. My camera guy's a college wrestler. I think he's gonna
Yeah.
probably do what he wants. So we'll do what.
You gonna tell him no?
Yeah. Good luck with that. Here we go. Fair. Speed 3. Loop trolley. Spoiler alert. An SUV is parked a little cockeyed. The trolley has to stop and everyone dies. That's from the Black Sheep. That's very, very fathomable that could happen. Fair. I can see it now. Oh God. I wish Travis was here. Medea's Family Cookout. Jackson Place Park in Old North City. Grilling an old white woman with a photo phone. Medea dunking and posterizing the neighborhood hooligan, and a family coming together to love. I've said too much. Must hurry to get this copyrighted. That's from TT's Pink Eye. That tickle your fancy as a
I like
writer?
it. I
that's
think
good.
they missed an opportunity to powder coat the grill they were barbecuing on.
Oh,
Just a
gateway
little.
powder
If they had that
coating.
product placement, I think that's the winner.
Man,
But
and you know,
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and you know what? If they wanted pet food delivered, they could call Pet Once, St. Louis West, in the middle of their cookout. You could feed the dogs. Pet Once, St. Louis West. There's their logo. Oh my God, fresh, local, delivered. Pet Once, St. Louis West. Check them out online, guys. And this is a short one. I like it though, and I'm gonna have to explain it to TK. So people speak an interesting way here, and we don't realize it sometimes. But if you ever go back and watch The Office, pay attention to Phyllis, who's from here. The way she says her R's, she's like, so if we say popcorn, like
Oh,
that's
yeah, sure,
something,
yeah.
it's like, and you'll never be able to forget it. So this is from TB, Fast and Furious, Farty Far Nights. Isn't local humor funny whenever it's explained before?
I got it. I got it. I'm on
that's
board.
good. I'm a fan of that one. That's from it's from TB. That'll do it for Submissions Day. Who's getting $25 to Anthoninos? Gardner, start us off. Who you voting for?
I got Ran Ronke.
Ran Ronke.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for the last one from TB, Fast and Furious, Farty Far Nights. It was short, sweet. I enjoyed it. What about you?
Oh man, I mean, I'm not going to break the tie here. I got to go with Medea. I think
You're going with the Medea
because
move.
it was an in-depth.
Yeah.
It was. That was a
As-
well-pitched movie.
I agree.
I could
Probably,
see it.
Guest probably is the tiebreaker.
Guest is the
Yeah.
tiebreaker. He's
Oh,
an actual staff writer. He picked the best writing. Congratulations to TT's Pink Eye. You've won $25 to Anthonino's Taverna on the Hill. Wow, that was a lot of fun, guys. TK Kelly, everybody. Blast having you in, man.
Dude, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
It
I really
absolutely
appreciate
was.
it.
Download Movie Night Podcast wherever you get
Yeah,
your
check us out.
podcast. And if you happen to be in Chicago, D.C., Kentucky, Florida, TK will be performing all throughout the U.S. over the next couple weeks. So we're excited about that. Big shout out to Travis, who will join us back tomorrow. We've got a fun week ahead. A lot of fun guests, all kinds of good people. The intern will be back tomorrow. What do you got, Gardner?
And Travis will have his weekly Traview tomorrow. We got something fun.
What is it?
Jewish weddings.
Oh.
Travis went to his first Jewish wedding.
And now he's reviewing them as a whole.
He's going to
I
review
like
them
it.
as a
Yeah,
whole.
just
Yeah.
based on the
Okay,
one.
he's a black dude, so he can do whatever he wants. So we'll be sure to get to that tomorrow. That'll be a blast. Big thanks to St. Louis Counseling Services. Check out their podcast, Mental Health Matters, that records right here in these studios. St. Louis Counseling, improving lives since 1955. That's right for your business, individual counseling needs. They can help you out. And big thanks to all of our sponsors. And again, to TK Kelly. For Gardner, my name's Chris Denman. It's We Are Live. We're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. Whenever I get done, say peace really loud into the mic when I'm done. And check out midcoast.media for more information. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Peace.